Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Abraham Lincoln pennies that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have a fascinating story to share about a coin that might be hiding in your collection or even your spare change. It's a coin that often goes unnoticed but has the potential to be worth a small fortune. I'm talking about the United States 1-cent coin from 1982. Yes, that humble penny, which many of us see as just pocket change, could actually be worth thousands of dollars. Stick around as we explore the history, rarity, and value of this seemingly ordinary coin that could change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Let's start with some context. 1982 was a significant year in U.S. history. It was the year the country was experiencing a shift in its economy, politics, and culture. The early 80s saw President Ronald Reagan in office, and the country was coming out of a recession. This year was also important for the U.S. Mint, which was tasked with adjusting the coinage system due to rising metal prices. This led to a change in the composition of the penny. Up until this time, the penny was primarily made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. But, as the price of copper soared, the U.S. Mint decided to change the formula, making the 1982 penny a mixed composition coin with a combination of copper and zinc. The 1982 penny is unique because the U.S. Mint struck it in two different compositions. In the first part of the year, the penny was still made of 95% copper, but later in the year, they started producing pennies with a 97.5% zinc core and just a thin copper plating on the outside. This means that there are two different types of 1982 pennies, the copper-based ones and the zinc-based ones. Most people didn't think much of this change at the time, but today, this distinction has become a critical factor for coin collectors. Now, let's talk about what makes these coins valuable. As you can imagine, coins made of copper were in much higher demand due to the rising cost of the metal. The copper pennies, especially those in excellent condition, are considered quite rare today. Over time, many of these coins were used in everyday transactions and became worn or damaged. But in 1982, the U.S. Mint produced both copper and zinc pennies in large numbers, so finding a well-preserved, copper-based penny from that year is a rarity. You might be wondering, why is a 1982 penny worth so much money? Well, it's all about the specific coins that were made with the 95% copper composition. These copper pennies have become highly sought after by collectors because they are not just a piece of history, they are valuable due to their metal content as well. Since copper is a precious metal and its price has risen significantly over the years, these coins are worth more than their face value. In fact, the value of the copper pennies is tied to the price of copper itself, making them more desirable to collectors and investors alike. But there's more to it. Some 1982 copper pennies have been discovered with unique features or minting errors that make them even more valuable. Error coins are always highly prized in the numismatic community because they are essentially one of a kind. For example, some of these pennies were struck with double dies, meaning the design on the coin was stamped twice, creating a noticeable and dramatic error. These types of errors can drastically increase a coin's value because they are considered rare and unusual. If you happen to have a 1982 copper penny with a double die or any other minting error, you could be sitting on a small treasure. But even without errors, a well-preserved 1982 copper penny could still fetch a significant amount of money. In fact, collectors and investors are always on the lookout for coins that are in pristine condition, those that were either never circulated or have been carefully stored away. The better the condition, the higher the value. Now, let's get to the exciting part, the value. As we've discussed, most of the 1982 pennies were made from zinc, and the copper ones are the real treasures. If you have one of the rare 1982 copper pennies that's in excellent condition, you could expect to sell it for a substantial amount. And for those of you who are sitting on an error coin, the potential value just skyrockets. Believe it or not, the price for a 1982 copper penny in mint condition with a rare error can reach as high as $49,000. Yes, you heard that right, $49,000 for a single 1982 copper penny. This is why it's so important to carefully check your pennies, especially if you're holding on to any coins from 1982. You might just have a valuable piece of history hidden in your collection or jar of spare change. So, if you have any 1982 pennies lying around, take a closer look. Even if it doesn't have a minting error, the copper-based ones can still be worth more than you think, especially if they're in good condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out, this is a perfect example of how an ordinary coin can turn into an extraordinary find. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn more about valuable and rare coins. You never know, your next coin discovery might be worth a small fortune. Top 2, we've got an exciting topic for you. Have you ever thought that a simple penny might be worth more than just 1 cent? Well, if you've ever stumbled across a United States 1-cent coin from 1994, you might be sitting on a small fortune without even realizing it. These coins are often overlooked, but they carry a history and rarity that could make them incredibly valuable. Stay tuned to find out why this particular penny could be worth far more than its face value, and how you can tell if you found one of these hidden gems. Let's dive into the history of the 1994 penny and why it has become such an interesting coin for collectors. The 1994 penny, or the 1-cent coin, is part of the long-running series of Lincoln cents that have been issued by the U.S. Mint since 1909. The coin features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, which is the classic design that we've seen for over a century. But what makes the 1994 penny stand out from the rest of the thousands of pennies minted every year? The key to its value lies in the fact that the 1994 penny is often found in circulation in lower quality due to its age and heavy use. Like most pennies, the 1994 version was minted in large quantities and widely circulated, meaning that most of them were used for everyday transactions. The more circulated a coin is, the more likely it is to show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and other marks that can reduce its value. However, the real value comes from finding one in excellent condition, particularly those that have remained uncirculated or were carefully preserved over the years. Uncirculated coins are in their original, pristine state, with no signs of damage or wear. These coins have been kept in ideal conditions, often stored in protective holders or safe locations, and because of their rarity, they attract serious collectors. Another reason the 1994 penny is so sought after is due to the presence of specific varieties and unique features that make certain coins stand out. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1994 penny is the potential for error coins. In coin collecting, errors can include things like double strikes, misalignments, or incorrect details in the design. These errors are rare and highly valued because they represent an anomaly in the minting process, making them a collector's dream. A 1994 penny with an error is incredibly special, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these rare finds. To make things even more interesting, some 1994 pennies were made with subtle yet noticeable differences in their design due to changes in the way the U.S. Mint struck the coins. For instance, some collectors look for pennies that may have been struck with a lighter or heavier pressure than normal, which can result in subtle variations in the coin's features. These variations can dramatically increase the coin's value, and any coin with an unusual characteristic is automatically much more desirable. Now, let's get to the big question: just how much is the 1994 penny worth? Well, it might surprise you to learn that a 1994 penny in mint condition or one with a rare minting error can fetch a significant amount of money. While most pennies you find from this year are worth only 1 cent, some can sell for thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and any unique features they may have. For example, a 1994 penny in perfect, uncirculated condition could easily be worth several $100s, especially if it has been carefully stored and preserved. But for those with minting errors or special varieties, the value can go through the roof. The most exciting part? A rare 1994 penny, especially one with an error or a unique feature, has been known to sell for an impressive $41,000, that's right, $41,000 for a single penny. It may sound unbelievable, but it's true. If you happen to come across a 1994 penny that's been carefully preserved or contains an error, it could be worth an amount you never expected. So, make sure to keep an eye on your change, especially if you have older pennies. You could have a valuable collector's item on your hands without even knowing it. So, what should you do if you think you have a 1994 penny worth money? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for signs of wear and compare it with other pennies from the same year to see if there are any noticeable differences. Check for any minting errors or design variations that might set it apart from the standard issue. And if you think you found something special, it's always a good idea to get the coin professionally graded and authenticated by a trusted numismatic service. This will not only confirm its authenticity but also give you an accurate assessment of its value. Now that you know the true potential of the 1994 penny, you might want to take a closer look at the coins you already have in your collection or in your loose change. You could be holding onto a treasure without even realizing it. Top 3. We're talking about a coin that might just be sitting in your jar of spare change right now, the United States 1-cent coin from 1981. You may be thinking, it's just a penny, but this seemingly humble coin could actually be worth far more than its face value, and the price might surprise you. So, stick with me as we dive into the fascinating world of the 1981 penny and explore why this coin is one of the most exciting finds for collectors. Let's take a step back and talk about the year 1981. It was a significant time for the United States. The country was under the leadership of President Ronald Reagan, and the economy was going through a major shift. The early 80s saw inflation and rising interest rates, while the country was also experiencing the aftermath of the 1970s oil crisis. However, in the world of coinage, the United States Mint was still hard at work, producing coins for everyday circulation, including the iconic Lincoln cent, which has been in use since 1909. The 1981 penny might seem like just another typical cent coin, but there's something special about it. During this period, the U.S. Mint continued to produce coins that were primarily composed of copper, but it was also in the middle of transitioning to a more affordable zinc-based composition that would eventually take over in the following years. So, what makes the 1981 penny stand out from other coins in the same series? One of the most important factors in the value of this coin lies in its composition. While most of the pennies produced in the late 70s and early 80s were copper-based, some 1981 pennies were actually minted using a higher percentage of zinc. This composition change wasn't fully implemented until later in the decade, but there are still key differences between the 1981 copper and zinc versions that make some of these coins rare and highly sought after by collectors. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1981 penny so valuable. The first thing to note is that, like most coins that were in wide circulation, the 1981 penny was produced in massive numbers. However, this didn't mean that all 1981 pennies would survive in pristine condition. Coins that were used in daily transactions suffered wear and tear over time, making those in excellent, uncirculated condition more difficult to find today. This is where collectors get excited. If you have a 1981 penny that has been carefully preserved, free from scratches, discoloration, or other forms of damage, it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. So, how can you identify if your 1981 penny is worth more than face value? The key is looking at its condition and checking whether it's the copper or zinc version. While most of the 1981 pennies are made of copper, finding one in flawless, uncirculated condition is a rare and valuable find. Coins like this have become highly coveted by numismatists, those who study and collect coins, because of their rarity and the historical value they represent. The rarity of these well-preserved coins is what makes them particularly appealing, and if you happen to have a copper-based penny in mint condition, you're holding on to something very special. But that's not all. What really takes the value of the 1981 penny up a notch is the potential for error coins. In the world of coin collecting, error coins are a big deal. These are coins that have some sort of flaw or mistake from the minting process, making them unique and highly desirable. Whether it's a misaligned strike, a double die, or any other kind of minting error, error coins are always in high demand. And if you happen to find a 1981 penny with an error, especially a rare one, you could be looking at a significant increase in value. Now, let's get to the fun part. Just how much could your 1981 penny actually be worth? While most pennies from 1981 are worth only 1 cent, a few rare finds have been known to fetch significant amounts of money. If you happen to have a 1981 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially if it's one of the copper versions, you might be able to sell it for several $100s. But if you have an error coin or a unique variant from that year, the price can skyrocket. Are you ready for the big reveal? A rare 1981 penny with an error or in perfect condition could be worth as much as $49,000. Yes, you read that right, $49,000 for a single 1981 penny. It might sound unbelievable, but this is the kind of value that rare coins can carry in the collector's market. And it's not just a theoretical value. Coins like this have actually been sold for that price in auctions and private sales. So, what should you do if you think you might have a valuable 1981 penny? The first thing is to carefully inspect the coin. Check for signs of wear and tear, and compare it to other pennies from the same year to see if there are any noticeable differences. If you suspect that you have an error coin, or if the coin seems to be in unusually good condition, it's a good idea to get it professionally graded by a numismatic service. Professional grading will help confirm the coin's authenticity and provide you with a more accurate estimate of its value. In conclusion, the 1981 penny might seem like just another coin from the past, but it could be much more than that. Whether it's the copper composition, the chance of finding an error coin, or simply having a penny in mint condition, this seemingly simple coin has the potential to be worth thousands of dollars. So, take a closer look at your old pennies. You might just have a hidden treasure worth far more than you ever expected. Top 4, we've got an exciting topic that will surely get your heart racing. We're diving into a coin that you might have lying around in your spare change or tucked away in an old collection, the United States 1 cent coin from 1976. This unassuming penny, often overlooked and undervalued by most, could be hiding a small fortune. Yes, you heard that right, a penny from 1976 might be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have a whole new appreciation for this tiny piece of US history. Let's first take a look at the historical backdrop of 1976. It was a year of celebration in the United States. The country was marking its 200th anniversary, a monumental milestone. The nation was in the midst of its bicentennial celebrations, and everything from parades to coins was designed to commemorate this important occasion. This was a time of patriotic pride, and the U.S. Mint got in on the action by releasing special bicentennial coins to mark the 200th birthday of the United States. The 1976 penny, however, wasn't part of the bicentennial series. It was part of the regular annual coinage, featuring the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln, which had been on the penny since 1909. But don't let its familiar design fool you. This coin has become something of a rarity in the eyes of collectors, and it's more valuable than you might think. So, why is the 1976 penny considered special? The primary reason this coin stands out is the number of 1976 pennies that were made and circulated during that year. Like many other coins, these pennies were minted in large quantities, which makes them relatively common in circulation. However, finding a 1976 penny in exceptional condition today, especially one that has been well preserved and never circulated, is a rare discovery. Most of the pennies from that year have been worn down by years of handling, causing them to lose their luster. But if you've got a 1976 penny in pristine condition, you're holding onto a piece of history that could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. To further understand why the 1976 penny can fetch a high value, let's talk about its composition. Like many pennies from the era, the 1976 penny was made primarily of copper, but it has since gained attention because of the rise in the price of copper. As metal prices increased, the value of these copper-based coins began to climb as well. So, a penny from 1976 might not just be valuable because of its rarity in mint condition but also because of the increasing worth of its copper content. Over time, this combination of historical significance and metal value has made these coins even more sought after. but the real treasure hunters are on the lookout for something even rarer, the 1976 penny with a unique minting error. Error coins are often the most exciting part of any coin collection because they offer something that's truly one of a kind. These can range from double strikes, where the coin was stamped more than once during the minting process, to misaligned dies, where the design is off-center. There's a fascinating world of errors in the coin collecting community, and a 1976 penny with any kind of minting mistake is a goldmine for collectors. Collectors actively search for these error coins because they stand out and are incredibly rare. A slight flaw in the minting process could make a 1976 penny extraordinarily valuable. Imagine stumbling upon a penny that was struck off-center or one that shows evidence of multiple strikes. It could make all the difference in the value of the coin. In fact, certain error pennies can make a coin worth far more than the typical value for an uncirculated coin. Now, I know you're probably wondering, how much is a 1976 penny worth? Well, for most people, a penny is just that, a penny. But for collectors who are keen on finding rare coins or error pennies, the value of the 1976 penny can be far higher. If you happen to have a 1976 penny that's been well preserved in uncirculated condition, it could easily be worth hundreds of dollars. But if you've got a rare error coin, the value can skyrocket. Ready for the big reveal? A 1976 penny with the right combination of rarity, mint condition, or error could be worth as much as $56,000. Yes, that's $56,000 for a single penny. It's hard to believe, but this is the kind of value that can be found in the world of rare coin collecting. The unique combination of historical significance, copper content, and minting errors makes the 1976 penny a coin that collectors will fight for. So, what should you do if you think you found a valuable 1976 penny? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for signs of wear, but more importantly, check for any unique features, like minting errors or special characteristics. If you suspect that your penny is an error coin or if it appears to be in pristine condition, consider sending it to a professional grading service. This will not only verify its authenticity but will also provide you with an accurate estimate of its worth. In conclusion, while the 1976 penny might seem like just another piece of pocket change, it can actually hold a lot of value for those who know what to look for. Whether it's in mint condition, made of copper, or even carrying a rare error, this little coin can be worth far more than a cent. So, take a closer look at your change, because you might be holding onto a valuable piece of American history. Top 5 and last, we're going to talk about a coin that might be hiding in your spare change or perhaps tucked away in a drawer, waiting to be discovered. We're talking about the 1987 United States 1-cent coin, or the penny. It may seem like just another penny, but believe me when I say it has the potential to be worth far more than its face value. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see just how much this little coin could be worth, and you might be looking at your old pennies in a whole new way. Let's take a moment to reflect on the year 1987. The United States was in the midst of the Reagan era, with the country experiencing significant changes both politically and economically. On the global stage, the 1980s were a time of technological advancements, with personal computers and the internet starting to make waves. But what does all of this have to do with a penny from 1987? Well, for coin collectors, this period in U.S. history is important because of the coins that were produced during this time, including the 1-cent coin. Now, let's dive into the coin itself. The 1987 penny features the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln, which has graced the coin since 1909. On the obverse, you'll see Lincoln's portrait, while the reverse side features the iconic Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of American history and pride. At first glance, it might look like just another penny, but there's more to it than meets the eye. What makes the 1987 penny stand out in the world of coin collecting is the relatively low mintage and the condition of many of the coins that were released into circulation. While the United States Mint produced billions of pennies over the years, not all of them were made to last. Most pennies from 1987 were used in everyday transactions, meaning they were subject to wear and tear over time. As a result, Finding a 1987 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition today is a rare find, and this rarity is what makes these coins so valuable to collectors. So, what's so special about a 1987 penny in excellent condition? Well, as with any collectible item, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its value. Coins that have been carefully preserved, without any scratches, discoloration, or other forms of damage, are much more desirable to collectors. Over time, as the coin ages, its value increases, especially if it's in perfect condition. The 1987 penny was minted more than 30 years ago, so it's safe to say that finding one that has been kept in pristine condition is no easy feat. The rarity of the 1987 penny in uncirculated condition is what drives its value up. While millions of these pennies were minted, most were spent in everyday transactions and quickly became worn down by the time they left circulation. However, those that have been carefully stored in protective cases or left untouched for years have remained in excellent condition, making them much more valuable than their face value. These uncirculated pennies are what collectors seek out when building their collections, and they are often willing to pay a premium for coins in perfect shape. But there's another reason why the 1987 penny is highly sought after by collectors: the possibility of finding error coins. Error coins occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, resulting in a coin that doesn't match the intended design. These errors can range from double strikes to off-center minting, and they make for incredibly valuable collectibles. A 1987 penny with a minting error can significantly increase in value, especially if the error is rare or unique. Some of the most common errors include misaligned dies, where the image is not struck correctly on the coin, or even double die coins, where the design is imprinted twice, making the image appear doubled or blurry. If you happen to find a 1987 penny with any kind of minting error, you could be in for a big payoff. Error coins are highly prized by collectors because they are one of a kind and can never be replicated. A 1987 penny with an error could fetch a much higher price than a regular, uncirculated penny. Collectors are always on the lookout for error coins, and if you happen to find one, you could have a rare treasure in your hands. So, how much could a 1987 penny be worth? While most pennies from this year are worth only 1 cent, the value of a 1987 penny in mint condition can be significantly higher. Depending on its grade, a 1987 penny in uncirculated condition could be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several $100s. But if you've got a 1987 penny with a rare minting error, you might be looking at a much higher price. Ready for the big reveal? If you have a 1987 penny that's in perfect, uncirculated condition, or even better, if it has a rare minting error, it could be worth as much as $45,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $45,000 for a single penny. It's truly incredible what some coins can be worth, especially when they're rare, in excellent condition, or have a unique feature like a minting error. So, if you've got a 1987 penny in your collection, it's definitely worth checking its condition and looking for any signs of a minting error. What should you do if you think you found a valuable 1987 penny? The first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for any unusual features, such as an off-center strike or a doubled image. If the coin appears to be in excellent condition and hasn't been damaged, it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. If you suspect that your penny might have an error, or if it's in uncirculated condition, consider getting it professionally graded. Professional grading can confirm the coin's authenticity, assess its condition, and give you a more accurate estimate of its value. In conclusion, the 1987 penny is far more than just a regular piece of change. Whether it's the rarity of uncirculated coins, the possibility of minting errors, or the historical significance of this particular year, this penny has the potential to be worth a small fortune. So, take a closer look at your spare change and see if you've got a hidden gem in your collection. You might just have a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an exciting discovery. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.